afternoon. We're going to let a few more people in and then we're going to get started here in approximately 10-15 seconds. So if you just be patient, we can get all of our attendees in. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm glad everybody joined us this afternoon for a brief intro. My name is Mike Jones. I'm president of the National Marine Propulsion Association, and I'm also the owner of Coastal Propeller Service down here in Bridge City, Texas. First and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time today to join us. I know how extremely busy everybody is, believe you me. But you know what? We appreciate your time, and we appreciate you taking the time out of your business to be in attendance today and to watch and to just enjoy this town hall meeting and get the details and the information that I know that a lot of people want to get. But before we get into the details of this meeting, we want to start with something important, and that's the people who built this industry. The propulsion service and repair industry exists today because of the skill, the ingenuity, the dedication of professionals like you, people who learn through experience, people who solve problems without a manual, people who took pride to do the job right. And we thank you very much for that. You know, prop shops founded the NMPA, and that foundation has not changed. Our admiration and our dependence upon propeller shops has not changed. But what has changed is the environment around us. You know, I've been doing this for 40 years and a little over 40 years, and the environment around us is evolving. As technology advances, materials are changing, workforce is changing, and customer expectations is also changing. So, you know, we have to evolve as an organization in order to meet all these advancements in technology, manufacturing, in our workforce, and in pleasing our customers. And our responsibility as an association is to make sure that propulsion professionals, we stay connected, we stay informed, and we stay positioned for the future. Today, that's what we want to talk about. That's what this town hall is all about, looking at the future of the NMPA. And we see changes, steady changes across the industry. Like I mentioned before, technology is advancing. Just take, for instance, the Sharrow propeller. Technology changes each and every day. I talked to a customer who was enamored by his 3D printer and how he could print a propeller for his trolling motor. What's next? Outboards, inboards, you never know. Manufacturing processes are also evolving, and the workforce entering the industry is changing. A lot of our newer employees, they're very technologically advanced, and we have to be able to train them properly to make sure that they have the skills and the tools, even though they may have as what we say, the book knowledge. We want to make sure that they've got the tools and all the current technology available to help them repair propellers correctly. And customer expectations continue to grow. They want things done faster. They want things done a little cheaper. They want things done to their expectations. And sometimes that can really be problematic if things are not explained to the customer in the proper manner. None of this replaces the needs for skilled propulsion professionals. In fact, it kind of puts an exclamation point on being a propulsion professional. But it does make more important than ever to stay connected as an industry, to share knowledge, to stay current, and to support one another. This association can't survive without its members and without the support of its members. That's where the association plays an important role. We have done so historically, and we will continue to do so in the future. So now I'm going to ask the NMPA Secretary Treasurer, Mr. Brian Kahn from Henry H. Smith in Michigan, to quickly explain the new membership structure and what the board of directors has labored many months on. Brian, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Um, I think we're all members of the NMPA, so we all know the list of benefits here. So what I'm going to talk about today is the structure of the membership going forward. We've divided it up, much like our change in scope from propellers to propulsion, because you can't fix a propeller in a vacuum and not consider all the other elements that are involved with it. This membership change structurally has added elements that are normally piecemealed normally. So really the biggest structural change is the inclusion of the AMPE and commitments to participating in it and committed to sponsorship. So it's broken down now into 4 different levels, and the pricing seems like a big jump, but it is not a big jump when you consider the fact that this now includes the AMP participation and sponsorship. So that's the key to keep in mind here. So the first level of sponsorship is technical membership, much as it's always been. It's at $1,500 per year. This is for the service and repair professionals and shops. Full access to training, technical resources, voting, everything else, and is inclusive of 2 AMPE tickets with its annual membership. The next level is the associate membership, and it is, as before, those were the 2 levels that we had. Same thing, it includes the AMPE participation, and access to the industry and such is more for the ancillary industries around the propeller repair shops, the suppliers and service partners. And then the third level is the manufacturer member. It's $3,000 per year and includes the basic sponsorship of the AMPE, 2 tickets to the AMPE show, and access to all the manufacturers, OEMs, and participation in all the benefits of that. And the final level, the fourth level, is the legacy membership. And this is really geared towards the retiring people from the industry who are retiring out, not involved on a day-to-day basis, but want to continue to support the organization, support the network, and be involved with the NMPA. So that's retired professionals stay connected and participate in NMPA, AMPE. And those are the 4 levels of membership. Again, the most significant change being the inclusion and active involvement in the entire process, including AMPE. All right. I guess this, so the AMPE has all the built-in value, the industry connection, education collaboration, et cetera, that we all know so well. And I think we've got some changes to our bylaws that have got to be enacted in order to support this change in process. And with that, I turn it over to Beth.
Thanks, Brian, for breaking down those levels for us. Hi, I'm Beth. In addition to the membership structure update, the board is also presenting a set of proposed bylaw amendments. So these updates are intended to align the association structure with the expanded propulsion focus, support the updated membership model, and ensure the organization continues to operate effectively as it grows and as it evolves. So today's overview is just a high-level introduction. Members will be receiving the full proposed amendments for review, along with information on the process and timeline for feedback. So this next slide here is just some highlighted proposed amendments that the board has come up with. For instance, aligning with the new name of National Marine Propulsion Association, and this will also reflect the full propulsion industry. It also will be reflecting the updated membership tiers and support membership structure. Some operational updates would include virtual meetings, electronic voting to improve efficiency and strengthen the organization as we go forth into the future. So next, we're going to open this up. At this time, we'd like to open up for a few questions. We encourage you to share your thoughts, questions, provide any feedback. It's an important opportunity for open conversation, and we appreciate your feedback and input. So at this time, we're going to unmute everybody. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. Well, I guess everyone is, if you want, you can also unmute yourself there.
How's it looking
Yeah.
on renewals? Did you guys get people automatically converting?
Yes, we did actually have quite a successful auto renewal period April 1st. And we've had checks start rolling in about 3 weeks ago. Up till now, I think 2 checks just came in again today. So we are getting the membership renewals come in. There's been some questions and pushback again on cost, but this is why we've had this town hall meeting, so anyone that had any specific questions could address the board.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, hi, it's Doug Peck. How are you?
Hey, Doug. Good. How are you?
How many people are in this meeting? I can't tell.
There's 15 at the bottom there,
Okay.
my screen.
All right. I don't have that on mine. So the other thing I was just curious about, one of my friends who's part of the NMPA gave me a call and was kind of taken back by the price, and I explained to him that, included the 2 tickets to the show. He's like, but I only need one. I'm just a single man shop. So, I don't know if you've got some single guy shops like he is, but for him to pay, two trips to the NMPA meeting is a little tough.
Okay.
Hello?
Mike?
Yes, did you hear that question? We can look at that, Doug, and we just assume that, he maybe wanted to travel with a companion to take that person there with him. So that's why the two membership was included, or the 2 tickets to the Propulsion Expo was also included with that. But we can look at that and see if he's, you know, reimbursed, or like I said, if he wants to take a guest with him, or he wants to take somebody who might be interested in helping him out in the shop. I mean, that's always a possibility also.
I mean, I've been only be coming by myself the last few years. I haven't been
Yeah.
bringing anybody from my shop. Dad
Mhm.
and I used to come together.
Right.
Um,
Uh-huh.
my wife's not going to come with me because of her job.
Hmm.
But I don't mind paying the two. I'm a big shop. I can afford it. But there are, I have actually two friends in the area that are single one-man shops, and I think it's a little tough, it's a little tougher for them if, to deal with paying 2 tickets rather than one.
Okay. Well, that's something we can definitely discuss in the board at the next board
Okay.
meeting, which is
Yep.
coming up in 2 weeks. Yep.
I just wanted to bring that up. So,
I'm writing that down right here.
Yeah, good point, Doug.
One person shop, one ticket.
Yeah, I do appreciate that, Doug. That's something that I hadn't thought about.
Any other questions? The floor is open.
Mike, what has been the general consensus from all the manufacturers?
Well, I haven't talked to a lot of manufacturers. The four that I've talked to are they're definitely in favor, a little hesitant about the price increase, but so many of us buy so much material from them. That's what I kind of reminded them. We each individual shop, we invest a lot of money in their product. So, we kind of focus on the value and the connections that we have with those manufacturers. Because when the consumer come to us, they're coming to propeller shops to buy the manufacturer's product. So there's a connection there, and we're kind of like we're the foot soldiers for the manufacturer, so to speak.
Right.
Has anybody else had any other input from any of the manufacturers?
Mike, I think you did see my email from
Right.
So,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
early this morning, so still
Mhm.
working on that, but we'll see what transpires.
Have you ever sat down to think about how many tens of thousands of propellers are sold by propeller shops throughout, I mean, they just don't go to the boat dealers. Many people, even though they may purchase a brand new boat from a big shiny dealership or even from a little small dealership, I can't tell you the number of people that come by the prop shop to buy a propeller, either to buy a spare propeller or to buy a propeller that will increase the performance of the boat. So, propeller shops have a good foothold as far as, being able to sell the manufacturer's product. Any other questions?
we had one come in via email. What was the main reason the board decided to introduce the legacy membership tier? Does anyone want to answer onto that? The importance of having the legacy membership tier for maybe those shops who have sold or closed down, or for those who are retiring out but still maybe want to keep part of the association for wisdom, knowledge. Do any of the board have any other comments on that?
Well, I just think the legacy tier, like you said, somebody who's maybe retiring, and we've had several shops kind of close down, close their doors. Uh, the the people with the experience and the knowledge, they're such a valuable asset, especially to us who are still in the business. They always have tricks, tools, or they may have ideas that we haven't even thought about yet. And they want to stay connected with the Propulsion Association and just be involved somehow or the other. And I think it's an excellent opportunity. No, they're not a full-time shop anymore, but uh, I think that, like I said, their participation is valuable to our association.
It's almost
Agreed.
more selfish for us, right? We're trying to keep them involved and engaged and passing on that knowledge. And that's why the cost of it is so low to try and encourage it. And they're not actively involved in the industry. So we want to make it as easy as possible to help us.
Yeah, no, I mean, those members are a wealth of knowledge.
That is
Agreed.
well true. There's some questions in the chat here
Yes, I was
too,
just
Beth.
gonna say there's some questions in the chat here. Adams, what do you guys as board members need help with from the membership besides paying our bill? I would say fresh nominees for board members, so that possibly we can um, you know, grow the board of directors.
Yeah, I think to Adam's point, the biggest change we've made is committing to participating in the AMPE up front when you do your membership. And it's engagement that we need, like he's speaking to, throughout the year and throughout the organization. So we don't want to be planning an AMPE and not know how many people are going to sign up until 3 weeks before. We need to know the whole year, and we need to have the engagement and support of the entire membership. And to Adam's point, it's right on the money.
Hey Brian, if I may, good afternoon, everyone. This is Gordon Connell. I'm still here, still plugged in with NMPA. Probably see and hear the board and Beth a little bit more than you hear me. But I want to jump on to that question as well. I think uh, as to Brian's point, we need to know that the members are engaged and coming to AMPE. And I think one of the points that we've discussed over the years, and that I would want members who are on this call to take back as they're having conversations with other members, is the circle of life for the association and for AMPE starts with member engagement, members showing up. The sponsors and the exhibitors will show up if our members are there. We have to prove to them that our members are present and are coming to AMPE so that they see and recognize that this is the place where NMPA members gather, where the professional propeller propulsion experts are meeting, and this is the place where we get to see and hear and talk to them in either training sessions or in a relaxed networking environment, or where we get to show our latest products, our services, and they are here, so I have to be here too. But they have to be here. They have to be here at the AMPE for the sponsors and the exhibitors to believe that it is worth their time and investment.
And it is a symbiotic relationship. I mean, one can't happen without the other
Hmm.
if it's going to continue and be successful.
Yeah. But it starts with the members showing up.
Chicken and the egg.
Okay.
100%.
Mike, did you see that question that came into me that I posted for you? Um, some of the other ideas to engage the membership was the question. What are some of the other ideas that the board had? You know, we've got AMPE, but what are some of the other ideas to engage the membership?
I did not see that there, Gordon.
Yeah, that I posted that question for you in the chat there if you want to see it.
Okay.
If you pull that up.
Oh,
Yeah. Hmm. I still don't see it,
Let me,
Gordon. That's okay. Uh, but yeah, there's other things that, the membership can do. And, first and foremost is talk to your board members. We've got some exciting things planned, but it's very membership dependent because your feedback means a lot to us. Uh, this is not just seven guys trying to run the Propulsion Association. We value the input and from our regular members. And one of the big things is the information sharing that we do at the Propulsion Expo. Many moons ago we called it the convention, right? But things have evolved a little bit, so it's the Propulsion Expo now. But I can't tell you the amount of knowledge I got just from talking to other propeller shops, engaging with the manufacturers, and just that one-on-one that we miss sometimes. COVID and Zoom meetings kind of spoiled us a little bit, but you really to visit with somebody one-on-one and to talk with them and to share some information, and get to know that person on a personal level. It means a lot, and it means a lot to your approach to repairing a propeller or thinking back to a conversation you might have had and say, oh, well, they said to do this, and this looks like a little easier route to do this, or this makes more sense. So, I just can't reiterate enough how important it is to come to the annual event because it means so much for the organization.
agreed. Thank you for that, Mike. Well, thank you for these questions. If we have any other questions, comments, feedback you wish to share with the board of directors, please feel free, send it to info@nmpa.net, or feel free to reach out directly to any of your board members. Most of them should be here on the call. With that, I just want to double check. Greg, Cheryl, you're not on the call, are you? Okay. So I want to thank you guys again for being part of this conversation. This update's about staying connected, sharing knowledge, and making sure the propulsion community continues to grow stronger together. Before we close,
Just one sec, Beth, if you allow me to interrupt.
yes, please. Thank you, Stu.
No, like, I mean, some of the things that, that maybe people aren't realizing of what the benefits of, continuing or being a member. Um, there's virtual opportunities like to connect with other prop shops and networking. We're thinking about having regional meetings, right? Um, for example, Gary Linden had offered, if we wanted to have a regional meeting at his place in Dubuque. Um, and then if we want to go back and revisit the certification, um, here's an opportunity, for those that aren't certified, that they can apply and become certified. And it's another shingle you can hang on your door, to prove to your clientele that you are a professional, right? I mean, and it's a recognized certification in the marine propulsion industry that proves to your clientele that you're not just some backwoods guy, beating on a propeller with a wooden spoon and a tree branch. You're actually doing it professionally and you know doing it the proper way.
Agreed.
So,
Doug, are you able to speak now?
Yeah. You can hear me?
Yes.
yep.
I have a little bit of concern about where we've gone the last few years with seminars. Um, if I'm going to invest in bringing propeller people in my shop to the NMPA meetings, and I'm sorry if I'm going to revert back to the wrong language on that. Um, I think we need to focus on teaching people propeller repair again. And we're getting off track on that a little bit. And, the kind of seminars we're having are not going to help my guys get better at prop repair and to reinforce what we're doing in the shop.
Okay, we definitely
Good point.
another way that members can engage, and we appreciate that feedback, is um, we're going to be asking, making putting a call out for topics and speakers, and if we can get more engagement on some of those calls, we can definitely make sure that the topics that the seminar topics are speaking to things that are top of mind and in greatest need for our members when they come to AMPE.
I mean, I've learned a lot at the NMPA meetings over the years about propeller repair and things I
Okay.
brought back to my shop and try to teach my guys. But hearing it in a seminar at a meeting sometimes has more impact than me just keep telling them over and over again to do it this way, do it this
Right.
way. You know, they just get more, I just think they get more and more reasons and they can ask questions about why we're doing it a certain way, and maybe it'll sink in a little better because I find my guys lacking sometimes in how they prep a trailing edge and how they're, dealing with certain things. And, trailing edges have gotten extremely important. The singing props is driving us nuts. Um, when we get a prop on a boat and it's singing, it's a nightmare. And we had two or three last year that just were very difficult to address and take care of once the boats are in the water.
One of the things that I prided myself on, Doug, is that for many many years, I've tried to have input, in some of the seminars with, let's call it tips and tricks, and things that worked in my shop that may or may not work in other people's shops. But some of the things that I've developed, whether it be a modification of something that I learned from, whether it be Scott Bauman or Gary Linden or yourself, but trying to share that information with other members so that they can take those ideas back to their own facility and put them into play. And it's all about making money. And if there's a way to save money, it's the same thing as making it.
Well, you see that, this type of conversation is very vital. It's a vital part of the NMPA. You know, Sharing things like that, having seminars, Doug, and when we uh, when we send out the letter for ideas, be sure to chime in and remind us. But that's some of the things I'm trying to jot some notes down through this meeting for the next board meeting for the directors to just look at some things, and we want to start planning seminars and topics and things like that because all this is very important to us. And appreciate your feedback, Doug.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
definitely. I mean, for years, we reached out to the general membership. What do you guys, what do you shops, what do you want to hear? What do you want us to cover? Um, and in a lot of cases, it's crickets. And it's difficult sometimes to, come up with a different agenda or, a different set of topics that, is going to be well accepted by the general membership. So, I mean, when we do send out that questionnaire or that survey or that email, when we're asking for topics, we certainly like to see, ideas like yourself and what you've just come up with, and we will definitely try to accommodate that.
I mean,
Um,
I know some of it can be repetitive and we're kind of doing the same seminars over and over again, but if you got new people coming in, you know, these seminars need to be repeated once in a while. Repair tricks or repair procedures, you know.
Well, if you recall, Doug, in the certification uh, information and certification, uh, what the committee and I came up with, well, were standard operating guidelines and standard operating procedures in the proper ways and techniques to repair a propeller. Right? Um, that's the beauty about the standard operating guideline. Like the committee came up with, okay, you need to do this, but in your own facility, you come up with your own procedure. We just provide you the guideline, and then in your own shop, you develop your own procedure to achieve those goals.
Hmm.
Adam, would you like to repeat back what you've put in the chat there real quick?
I think he's pointed out he can't unmute himself.
Oh, even though I'm asking it to unmute. Okay. Um,
You there, Adam?
Seems like, yeah, for some reason I'm pushing ask to unmute, but it's not letting me. Okay. I'm gonna read then when you wrote there, just in case anyone can't see in the chat. TrueProp has been discussing hosting user meeting alongside the NMPA, so shops running TrueProp can learn best practices from them and exchange ideas with each other. They did one with Accutech. It was like a mini NMPA, but focused on our wheelhouse. Once they have a clear picture of the convention, they'll be in touch. So I mean, I think that sounds like an amazing idea. Thank you, Adam, for that. And we definitely will be in touch.
Yeah.
Uh,
Adam says he remuted himself.
it's I don't know why it keeps making me ask them, but um
Yeah, something like that in association with an AMPE would be outstanding. The other one is we've done in the past, like visiting Frank and Jimmy's. There's incredible amount of value to those visits as part of the NMPA as well, outside of the seminars themselves.
yes. Okay, so back to, is there any other questions or feedback from anybody? Valued the visit and heard good feedback. Awesome. Before we wrap up the town hall today with a special note, that Gordon, do you want to go ahead and release that information?
Uh, I was going to pinch hit
Or
for
Mike?
Greg. Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
ahead. There you go, Mike. 'Cause
Or Gordon can do it.
Mike, no, Mike, please go for it. I didn't know. I didn't want to ask you for any more, but you
No,
saw
that's
where I
okay.
kind of ended off, right? So before we
Yeah.
close,
A lot of talk has been made about the annual Marine Propulsion Exposition, the AMPE, which we call it for short. It is going to be at Circa in Las Vegas, and we're shooting for dates around the Veterans Day, back to where we used to have it the second weekend in Las Vegas. So we're trying to nail down a date now with management, and we're working on prices and room rates, things like that. And as soon as we have that information, we will release it to the membership. But plan on seeing everybody in Vegas in November at the Circuit Resort and Casino. We
yes.
look forward to bringing the industry together again for education, for connection, and for collaboration. I mean, it means so much. And we want to encourage all the members to review everything that we talked about today. And if you're not a member, please stay engaged, reach out with any questions. And if you haven't renewed, please renew your dues. And we'll look forward to seeing everybody soon in Vegas.